Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Coaches Close Clients podcast. Today, we have the lovely Brooke Allison here with us, and she is going to talk all about her story and her sales mindset and some of her top tips for coaches. So thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. Excited to dive into this.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's start off with just learning a bit more about you and your story and how you got started and a little bit about your mindset through that.
Yeah. Okay. So everything that I'm going to say in this story is important. So bear with me, okay? But I am Brooke Allison. So I'm a mind shift coach and an achievement strategist. So I help really badass entrepreneurs master their confidence, find clarity, and up-level their cash flow so that they can create a business and a mindset that's fiercely unstoppable. So this all really began, oh my gosh, I have to bring us back to like graduating college, okay? So I went to art school. I've always been a little bit of a rebel. I've always been like, follow my dreams. I'm going to do whatever the hell I want. Like, I'm going to follow what I want to do. So I went to art school. I graduated art school. And I honestly thought after school, I'd find a job like that, like just like a snap of my fingers. Like, I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be so easy. I'm so good at what I do. I already have experience. And I didn't. I did not find a job at all. Like, it was rough. Like, I literally applied to 5 to 10 jobs every single day. That's not an exaggeration. It was hell. I was working in retail at the time, and I worked there. Oh my God, I worked there for 5 years at the end of everything. And I was like, that was a lot. But they kept promoting me. So after I graduated college, they were like, oh, you don't need to just work part-time anymore. You can work full-time. And I was like, okay, fine. And then they're like, let's have you become a manager. Let's have you do this and this and this and this. And I was like, oh my God, you have to stop promoting me. Like, this is not my purpose. This is not what I'm supposed to do with my life. And I was so fearful, because I saw so many people come into the retail world with all of these dreams and these aspirations. And then I saw them move up and up and up and up and up in the company. And then they never went after their dreams. And I was like, like, that is not happening to me. Like, stop promoting me. And it came a time that I really felt like at that moment, I forgot what I wanted. I forgot my dreams because I was so burnt out from applying to jobs, not getting jobs. Oh my God, that is brutal. When they don't even message you back to say, hey, we got your application, but we don't want you. Like, I was like, this is ridiculous. So I had a friend reach out to me, and she was in an MLM company. And I was like, oh, hey, what's up? And she's like, hey, I'm working on this big goal. Will you help me with my goal? And I was like, yeah, of course I'll help you with your goal. Like, what's going on? And so she told me about this opportunity, and I was like, I could use some extra money. I mean, I was a graduated art student working in retail, living at home at my parents' house. I was like, yeah, I need money. Like, of course I do. I just spent like $100,000 on school for an art degree. So I started my first business when I was 22. And that was an MLM company. And I'm so thankful that I did that, because if it wasn't for that, I would not have this business now. So let me just fill you in on the timeline. That allowed me to start dreaming again. And I remembered, like, hey, retail is not for me forever. This was a temporary situation. This is not what I want to do with my life. Because I started thinking, maybe I'll just keep moving up and go to corporate. No. That was not what I wanted. So literally within a month or two of starting this business, I think I started in November. And then, a few months after Christmas, I was packing up my stuff in a 10x10 truck, and I moved across the country to Colorado. So it was very sporadic, very like, okay, let's do this thing. Like, I knew I wanted to move, but how was I going to do that? And so I started dreaming again. Unfortunately, when I moved to Colorado, I moved there with my ex-boyfriend. We were together at the time. He's my ex-boyfriend now. And it was one of those things that things were never fully healthy in St. Louis, but I just thought our relationship was really dramatic. I thought our relationship was just like, that was the love that I deserved. And that's just the way it was, that we would get angry and he would yell at me and things would get really out of hand. And when we moved across the country, it just escalated to something that was so unhealthy and unsafe for my well-being that I was no longer safe in this situation. And I literally just made 5 life-changing decisions at one time. I quit my full-time job of 5 years. I moved out of my parents' house. I moved in with my boyfriend. I started a brand new job, and I moved across the country. So usually people take their time with those. I didn't. And it was a really good learning lesson. But I found myself in this place that I was like, I have to leave. I have to get out of this relationship. I have to find my own place to live. And at that time, my confidence was below 0. And I say this because it's important, because every single day people come to me now and they say, you are so inspiring. You are so confident. I wish I could be as confident as you. They say your energy is contagious. What they don't realize is that it wasn't always this way, that there was a point in my life that I couldn't get out of bed. There was a point in my life that I didn't think that I should be here. There was a point in my life that I didn't even know what the hell I was doing, right? So that's the beautiful thing about confidence. It's a learnable skill, and you can absolutely learn your way to confidence. And I believe now, and what I teach now, is that confidence has a direct connection to your cash flow. So, all right, left the relationship. All right, fast forward. So about 2 years ago, okay, a little bit more than a year and a half ago, I met this woman at the mall. And I was like, you are beautiful. You have to come over and let me pamper you with a free facial. Holy cow, I want to feature you in my portfolio. So I was still running my MLM business. But here's what my life looked like at that point. I was working 3 or 4 part-time jobs. I don't even remember at this point. And I was working this business. I was in the top 3% of the company, and I still could not afford my bills. I was on food assistance. That year, I was pretty sure I was going to have to move home, not because I wanted to, but because I had to. And so this woman came over, and she ended up having her own business too. And she was like, hey, are you in these Facebook groups? And I was like, what's a Facebook group? And she, which, like, if you know me now, I have a really big Facebook group that's constantly growing, and it's called Fiercely Unstoppable Entrepreneurs. And, you know, it's amazing and incredible. And I was like, what's a Facebook group? And she's like, oh, you're going to love this. And so she adds me on into all these Facebook groups. And I was like, okay. And so I started noticing what was going on in these groups. And a lot of these people were coaches. And I was like, what is this? What are these people doing? This is so cool. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I started jumping on the phone with people. And I was like, okay, what's going on here? What's going on here? And someone, one day I was like, why am I not doing this? And before this, for weeks, I had been praying and hoping and wishing for a sign of what I'm supposed to do next. And those little intuitive nudges, they're so quiet, but if you listen, it can change your life. And so I listened, and I said, I think this is what I'm supposed to do with my life. Like, oh my gosh, this is it. And I did not have the money, but I figured it out, and I invested in my first coach, and I was like, all right, boom. And then literally things just blew up and took off from there. I literally went from food stamps to over 6 figures in sales in a year, and then a 6-figure business, and then some. And now we are here, and about a year and a half into my business, of this business here. And I have a one-way ticket to Italy. And so I'm a new digital nomad. So things can happen so quickly. So I know that was like a long story, but I feel like all of it is so important to figure out why you get to where you are now, because sometimes we go through things and we don't know why we're going through them. Why is this happening to me? Why is it this way? And most of the time you can look back and be like, that was a lesson I needed to learn. If that didn't happen, I would not be here. So.
Wow.
So on that note.
I love it. I love it. And I love how you just listened to the nudges and you just went for it.
And it's you know what, those nudges, I feel like I talk about this all the time lately, especially because I'm trying to listen more. I truly believe that as human beings, we're very intuitive, but we have all this noise that we're so used to the noise, we're not used to those intuition nudges. So we don't listen to the nudges, we listen to the noise because that's what we're used to. So it's been a work in progress, right? It was one of those things that, my mindset, okay, I know you kind of asked about that too. My mindset throughout that whole entire life journey of story was all over the place. I was an emotional basket case, and I was on an emotional roller coaster. But if I'm being honest, that's what entrepreneurship is.
Mm.
Entrepreneurship is an emotional roller coaster. And the hardest part about being an entrepreneur is the 6 inches between your ears. Easily.
Mm. So tell us a bit about that. Like how, like when you were first starting out, I know a lot of coaches have this problem where they feel like, who am I to coach people? Like like they feel like they're still figuring things out themselves. And that also, they kind of have that fear and that lack of confidence around, for example, commanding their prices and things like that. So tell us about that and like how you kind of develop that mindset and yeah, like some of the strategies around that.
This is such a good question because my biggest advice to you is to go back to the beginning when you didn't know anything and be that too dumb to doubt person. When you first start something, you are so excited that everything your coach tells you to do, you say, okay, I'm going to do it. Okay, I'm going to do it. Okay, I'm going to do it. And you don't even have time to doubt yourself because you're like, yeah, of course, I'm going to do all the things because this is what I want to do. And you're so excited that your blinders are on, you are on your path and you are focused on where you're going. And what happens is along the way, we start looking at all these other people and we're like, oh, Sally Sue over here just passed me up. Oh, look what this person's doing over here. Do I need to be doing that? Oh, but they just made more money than me. Oh my God, well, who am I? And so then we start second guessing our decisions and we lose that confidence that we had when we first started when we were too dumb to doubt. So my journey was a little bit different because that is what I taught when I first started was confidence. I went from an abusive relationship to being massively confident. And so that is where I started. You start with what you know. The reason that if you're in a place where you're just starting, and if you're in a place where you're like, okay, I'm just starting, but who am I to teach this? That means that you don't believe in what you're teaching. I knew when I first started that I could help you with your confidence. There was no doubt in my mind. And so then it's really being your own hype man and being like, yeah, you got it. Oh my God. Yeah. Literally qualify yourself about why you are so good at this. Eventually, I transitioned that because I really missed helping people start their own businesses. And I was like, I have been in business at the time when I first started and I started opening up to business, I had been in business for over 4.5 years at that point. And I was like, I miss helping people start businesses. Like I miss that. So then I transitioned it. But if I would have started as a businessy life coach all at the same time, I probably would have had those same thoughts too. So get really confident with what you know you can help people. You can always expand or change it later. There are no freaking rules here. Do whatever the hell you want. Did you hear me call myself a mind shift coach and an achievement strategist? I made that shit up because it sounded fun. Doesn't it? Like it sounds freaking fun. And so then things just morph and change with me. So if you're feeling that uneasiness when you first start, that's because you're not honing in on what you know you can help someone with.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right, girl. Let's transition a bit into sales, which is kind of the topic of our podcast. So so tell us, like, when you were first starting out, did you struggle with sales, or did you find that because you had the confidence, like sales kind of came easier to you, or what would you say have been some of your key like strategies and key aspects that lead to good sales?
Yeah. So there's always room for growth. But at that time when I started this business, I feel like I set myself up really in a win-win situation because not only had I been in sales from my MLM, but I had been in sales from working in retail. Right. So I have over 10 years of experience in sales at this point in my life. So luckily I had experience. And that's the thing I think people need to realize is that it's not this overnight, like I'm brilliant, I'm so good at selling, right? It takes time to learn things and to like, okay, let me hone in on my practice. Like I did 50 sales calls at least, maybe more. Maybe like a smidge less. It was a lot. I'm not going to lie to you. I did a lot of sales calls before I had my first client. Am I telling you that's going to happen to you? Absolutely not, right? Because I mastered my craft. I learned more along the way. And so a lot of this is helping people see where you are going to take them, right? We are so sick of sitting in our own pain, but if we don't know how you're going to help us, if we don't know Like if they don't know how you're going to help them, if they don't know that you're confident in helping them, one, if you do not have confidence, then you are not going to have the cash flow you desire. Like, like if I came on here like really wishy-washy and said, I can help you make $10,000. I think I can do that, but sometimes like I'm bored hearing myself talk, right? Like you would be like, girlfriend, get out of my face. I don't know what you're talking about, but I don't think you can help me do that. So you do have to cultivate your confidence. And it is like literally switching on a switch, like a light switch. And you're like, hell yes, this is what I do. I am a badass. I am so freaking good at sales. Something I do every single time I jump on a call now, I literally visualize them coming into my program or coming into my one-on-one or me sending them the invoice and sending them the contract or whatever that looks like. I visualize it before it happens, but I stay in integrity. I never tell someone I can help them if I don't think I can help them. And knowing that when you have an abundance mindset, when you push people away, that's only bringing more yeses to you. And for every no, I believe I have 2 yeses already on the way.
Wow.
So I feel like there was a lot in there.
Yeah, no, I love that. So how do you cultivate that belief that, yeses are on their way? Because I know, some people maybe starting out, they feel like, all right, it's not really working. Like they've been struggling maybe for a couple months. And like, how do what are your techniques for like cultivating that belief and like,
yeah, this is such a good question. I'm so glad we're talking about this because, I've been talking about this a lot lately. And here's the thing. You have to go back to what you know is true for you and remember where you're going, okay? You started a business not for you. Yes, we have a selfish reason, okay? But usually you start a business because there's also a selfless reason for someone else. You want to impact someone. You want to help someone in some way. It sounds fun, right? You want to do something to benefit someone else's life. So we get so caught up in all the bullshit that we're going through that we forget where we're going. And it's never about what we're going through in this current moment. It's about where we're heading, right? We always overestimate what we can do in a day, but we underestimate what we can get done in 6 months to a year. So we have to go back to what you know is true for you. I know I'm going to be a millionaire. Do I know when that's going to happen or how it's going to happen? No, that's not my job. I know that to be true for me. What do you know is true for you? What do you know is true about you? And then you have to start removing all of these things and these masks that other people have put onto you that you have identified with. So that's step number 1. You got to get clear on what's going on inside of you and what you know is true for you, okay? When you know that, then when someone says, Brooke, your eyes are purple, I'm like, no, they're not. Like they're clearly blue. Like, and then right. When someone says something about you that you know is not true, then you're like, you are crazy. I am not drinking your crazy juice. I'm going to stick on my path because I know it's true for me and I know where I'm going. You also have to know where the hell you're going, right? So I like to explain it like in art school, okay? So in art school, when I would work on a drawing, when I'd work on a painting, even when I was in the dark room, I had to put the painting on the wall and then walk across the room to see the bigger picture. And so often we're so zoomed in and we're just focused on what's happening, we forget to look at the overall picture here. Where are you going? So constantly, but taking steps towards that. So how you grow a belief system, I have a really great visual for this and it makes me really happy. And I'm so glad I thought of this because I'm like, yes, I'm brilliant. Okay, so it takes time, okay? It is not something that happens overnight. Your success will not happen overnight. Your success and or failure, whatever that means to you, happens because of your daily actions that you do every single day. So either you have really, really good freaking habits that help you, or you have some bad habits that kind of inhibit you and push you the opposite direction, right? So growing a belief system. When I first started, and I was below zero with confidence, like right out of abuse, right after some major, major nonsense. I used to tell myself, I am bold, beautiful, and confident. I am bold, beautiful, and confident. I did not believe any word of that. But maybe I started with I am becoming, right? I am becoming. If you can't believe an affirmation or a mantra right now, you have to have that bridge word. I am becoming, I am stepping into, I am attracting, because then it has to be inarguable. Is that a word? Inarguable? Okay, perfect. Inarguable. Okay. So what happens is, if you picture like the water park, okay, so go to the kids section of the water park. Usually at every water park, they have that big bucket at the top that fills with water. And then, every like 15 minutes, it falls over and people are like, yay, water splashes all over them. That is how you have to think about your belief systems. It starts out empty. You got a bucket that says your belief system. It starts out empty. And the more you say it, the more you believe it, the more you feel it, the water will fill. And as it plummels over, that becomes part of your core and what is true for you. So I believe the more money I make, the more fun I have, the more money I make. I believe that every time I have a no, I have 2 yeses along the way. So when I was going through these first few sales calls, I'm not even joking, you guys. I had like 50. I really should look up the number because I did a lot, but I wasn't caught up in why isn't this working? Why isn't this working? Why isn't this working? I was having so much fun. I was like, yes, I know my client is on its way. So I'm not going to give up because I'm unstoppable. And that's what I love helping people cultivate, is that unstoppable, beautiful, confident energy, because really, that's the key to all of this. And success and clients and cash follows the more clear and confident you are. Success is inevitable.
Girl, I love your energy. I'm just like, I could listen to this all day long. Oh, all right. I love it. Well, I think like what a lovely way to end off this podcast. So why don't you just tell us how we can get more of you, where we can find you online, and where we can connect with you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Please connect. If you listen to this and you're like, I love this, message me. You guys, I am just on the other side of the screen. I love hearing from you. But yeah, I am Brooke Allison with an extra N on Instagram because, names are taken. You know how it goes. But I'm also BrookeAllisonCoaching.com. You can come join my Facebook group. It is Killer Fiercely Unstoppable Entrepreneurs. I go live on Facebook a lot. I've been going live on Instagram. I'm loving stories these days. I'm everywhere, but also I'm going to gift you guys some freebies, so whatever you'd like to share, I'm sure we'll have all the links available, but I would love to have you guys come join me. I forgot the most important thing is of my own podcast. I've got the Fiercely Unstoppable podcast, which is the bomb. You should listen. It's amazing. But I would love to have you guys in my corner.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brooke, for coming on. And I'm so excited for everyone to learn everything you shared today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.